What's up, everybody? Derek here with the Nocked and Loaded podcast. Today I've got John Koepp. He's a good buddy of mine. We went to high school together, and he is the owner of Addiction Calls. So, good buddy, great podcast. He's got some awesome calls. We're going to talk about him. We're going to talk about how he got started. We're going to talk about where he's going, and a little bit of hunting as well. So, listen up. We got John Koepp with Addiction Calls. Here we go. This is Derek Dirnberger, and you're listening to the Nocked and Loaded podcast. What's up, John Koepp?
How's it going, Derek?
Man, I've been trying to get you in here since I started this podcast, and I finally have the legend.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But yeah, it's good to be here.
Good, good. You ready for turkey season?
I am dying for turkey season. I can't wait. Been up all morning making pot calls early this morning. So
Have you?
yeah, and with those and the custom side and the production side, production side's pretty much done already, but everybody wants that pretty custom call out of an exotic wood or something like
Right.
that. So
Right.
that puts me in the basement for a while.
That's all right. You'll be out in the field
yeah.
here before long, out in
Yeah.
the woods.
Yeah.
When you start your turkey season?
It's right there the second week of April.
Okay, so you're not going anywhere before Missouri?
No.
Okay.
No, plan on a trip probably to Arkansas and to Tennessee, but I'm going to start out in Missouri.
Okay, good. I know some guys that are headed to Florida right now.
Oh, man.
I'm jealous.
Like I said, I'd love to be there. I got an invite to an outfitter down there around Sarasota, but I can't drive 17 hours to shoot a turkey.
Well, you could.
Well, I guess I could, but that's a little excessive.
Yeah.
But one of these days, I'll get it done.
Well, you and I need to go together.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've never been turkey hunting anywhere other than Missouri and Illinois. I went to Illinois last year for the first time, and
Right.
I just pretty much stick to Missouri.
Yeah, Illinois is good too. There's a lot of ridge, a lot of ridge birds over there. So kind of a little bit of different hunting, at least southern Illinois. But
Right.
yeah, the Florida deal I want to get done one day because the guy is an outfitter, so we can go down there and get it done. We probably won't be wasting our trip, but
Right.
and he knows the locals there to if we need to move around.
Uh-huh.
So,
Hog hunting, we could probably do that at the same time.
Yeah.
I know some guys that go down to Florida and they kill some turkeys and then
yeah,
hogs as well.
that could be worth the trip.
It definitely could. I do like killing hogs too.
Yeah. 'Cause my mom actually lives in Sarasota, so
Oh,
we have a place to stay too. So
well, there we go. Let's go. We can hit the road right after this.
yeah, we have to book a plane ticket or something. That'd make it
Okay.
a lot better.
That would make it a lot better.
Oh yeah,
We could do that.
We'd be down there in an hour and a half and scouting turkeys.
No, we'd definitely have to do that. How was waterfowl season? That's probably your number one.
Yeah. Waterfowl's probably my biggest industry. It was pretty good, started out slow like it always does and got better in January, but it was a decent year.
Yeah. Did you hunt with Shane at SEMO Outfitters very much, or you just...
This year I didn't, no.
Okay.
No, but, I kept up with what was going on over there, and they had a really good season, like they always do. But,
Right.
No, I hunted Missouri, Arkansas, Tennessee, and Illinois.
Okay.
So a little bit of everything.
Yep.
But most of it was in Arkansas. Had a buddy of mine's place down there.
Okay.
In close to Clarendon, Arkansas, if people are familiar with that.
All right. You just a lot of private land, just buddies here and there and everywhere?
Yeah. Yeah, it was all private land, old sloughs and, cypress swamps and stuff like that.
Yep.
Which, that's a lot of people haven't got to do, but, it's on a lot of people's bucket list to hunt the timber in Arkansas, and there's a reason why.
Yeah.
There's nothing like it.
Yeah.
Nothing.
That's where you'd rather be as opposed to open water, open field.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
To me, it's a more intimate thing. You're not having to crouch down in a blind and stay hidden. You're just hugged up to a tree with your buddies there, and it's up close and personal with the ducks, you know. So, and just the sounds, you know, the shotguns going off and the echoing through the timber, man. There's nothing like it.
Yeah,
nothing close. Now, something I would love to do that I've never got to do is go up north with a friend of mine in Minnesota, and you know, most of those guys they don't hunt water at all. They're all dry field hunting. So,
okay.
So I thought that would be pretty neat. You know, down here, dry field duck hunt's not really going to happen.
Right.
Up there, that's all they do. So I thought that would be kind of a fun thing to do.
Well, I'll tag along with you on that too.
Absolutely. They shoot a few honkers, big old honkers, and you know that's basically what they do is they're setting up for geese, and they got one spinner out there, and the ducks just pile in on them. So,
no kidding.
So you can shoot all the honkers and shoot the ducks in the dry field as well. So.
Well, nice. Yeah. Well, I'm in for that too, man.
You
just tell me when we're going.
I'm ready. Got a few more months.
Yeah, for that, for sure.
Yeah.
Are you doing any snows and?
No, I've never really. I've traced them back when I was young, and you know, was able to crawl down through the ditches, and a little more eager than I am now to shoot one.
Right.
But I haven't done it in quite some time. But now the Speckle Belly hunting, you know, I'd much rather do that. You know, that's, to me, they're probably even more fun than duck hunting because they're more vocal and they kind of carry on a conversation with you. As you're calling, they'll call back to you with the same call or, you know, in response to your call. So they're probably the most fun to hunt. And, you know, you don't have to have a huge spread of decoys to hunt them. You know, you can put out a dozen decoys and get them in there. But that's probably the best, other than the flooded timber.
Right.
So.
Yeah, that's so. We've known each other for quite a while. We went to high school together.
Yeah.
But I don't think we didn't hunt together back then. And I don't even know if I knew you hunted. You may not even know that I hunted back then. But it was.
Well, basically, all I remember back then, you know, with us, it was sports.
Right.
That's all,
yeah.
You know, all we did day in and day out. But you know, I've hunted most of my life. You know, grew up deer and turkey hunting mainly and fishing.
Right.
And you know, it all kind of got started when my brother got to be of age to go waterfowl hunting. My dad took him on a youth hunt, and I tagged along, which was the first time, you know, I've actually waterfowl hunted. I guess I was probably 14 or 15.
Yep.
And ever since that day, that just changed everything. I still deer hunted and turkey hunted while waterfowl, you know, but eventually I quit deer hunting. I still turkey hunt because that's my favorite besides duck hunting.
Right.
Probably, you know, it's a close call. It's a good thing they're, you know, different seasons because it'd be a tough decision to make. But that's the day that I decided waterfowl is what I wanted to do. And ever since then, I've just been hammered down on it.
Yeah, hammered down. Yeah, I remember back in high school. Of course, I hunted everything back in the day.
Right.
We would, talking about sports, I remember a basketball season. You remember Heath Berger.
Oh, yeah.
We were good buddies back then in high school, played basketball, and we'd go hunting in the mornings before school, drive to school, still have our shotgun in the back glass gun rack.
Oh, yeah.
Went to school. As soon as school was over, on game days, because we didn't have basketball practice right after school, we'd take off and go hunt geese in the evening as well. This was during basketball season. I remember we had a basketball game that night, and we had to be there before the JV game started.
Right.
Well, we had, I don't know, 300-400 geese in this field, and we're crawling down this ditch, and it's almost game time, and Heath is, we got to go, man. I was like, we got 300 geese in there. They're about ready to get up and fly. We're waiting. And, oh, man, I remember they come up and flew over, and we moved down the ditch too far. They didn't fly over us.
Right.
wasted.
Usually.
Yeah, that's what happens. But yeah, that's how you sneak in there and you try to guess where, get in the center and guess how they're going to fly up. And
exactly.
Yeah, they were too far away. So we come running out of this ditch. The game's starting. We have to run home, get our gear, basketball gear, go back to school.
Man.
We snuck in there and acted like we were there the entire time. Coach never saw us, and we.
That's a good plan.
Yeah. But it was. That's how we used to do it back in the day. And then I got into deer hunting. I mean, back then again, I loved waterfowl hunting, but once I got out and you're doing other things, whether it's college or school or you're starting a family, you can't do it all, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, I went the deer hunting route.
Yeah, you got to pick one, and I picked waterfowl and kind of went the other way. That I don't know. It was just something about being out there with friends and being able to talk and communicate with the animal. I guess you can use the deer grunt, but
it's nowhere near
the same. So, you don't have to sit there and be quiet and all that.
That is a great thing about waterfowl.
Oh, yeah.
It really is.
And you can cook breakfast there. You don't have to sit there. You're not worried about smells or anything like that. So
yeah.
But, I would still go deer hunting in a heartbeat. But like you said, you got to – it gets to where you got to pick something.
Yeah.
It's too much, but –
well, in the best time of the season, duck season comes in here. I mean, the best time's what, mid-November? Probably or not?
Well, probably. Well, that's
kind of when it's starting,
depending
right?
on where you're at. But here, I would say late December and January.
Late December's the best,
as long as you're not froze up, of course, which usually happens.
Right. But I guess season opens first part of November. Is that correct?
Yeah, the middle zone does.
Middle zone, where we're at,
and we can actually hunt both because we're right on the line. We can hunt middle and south, and south usually opens around Thanksgiving Day. So you got the first week of November usually is middle zone, and then Thanksgiving for the south. So you can kind of hunt both, and you get actually here you can extend your season because you can go from first week in November to almost the end of January. So
yeah, that's another reason why deer season is just getting good.
Yeah, exactly.
And then duck season's kicking in. So
I remember many a morning we couldn't wait for deer season because the draw lines at Duck Creek and Otter Slough would be down because everybody went deer hunting.
Right.
So that's what we thought about deer season. Most of the time after the 15, 16-year-old.
Right.
We couldn't wait for deer season.
Yeah. That's something that's changed a lot as well. If people don't know, how do you get on to these public waterfowl duck hunting places? Back in the day, you used to leave your house at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning where we're at, drive down to Duck Creek or 10 Mile or Otter Slough.
Yeah.
And
you had an hour
get a lottery.
Yeah.
And then if you didn't get draw,
exactly,
go home.
And that pretty much burns your day because you get up 2:00 and drive an hour and don't draw out. You got an hour drive back, and you go back to bed, and then you're pretty much done until late afternoon. So.
So it's much more convenient now with online, right? There's an online draw.
Actually, only Otter Slough. The past couple seasons has been doing what they call a quick draw, and you can put your name in to get in a drawing, and they will actually, if you win a position, you actually know this date I'm going to get to hunt, and this is the pill number I've got. So kind of the order you're going to be picking.
Pick your blind, yeah.
So that Otter Slough did that the last 2 seasons, and of course I didn't get drawn very many times, but to me, that's the way to do it because you're not wasting your time.
Right.
And I don't know if there's any truth to it, but I've been told the others are going to start doing that too.
Okay.
But you know how hearsay is. But,
right.
Definitely more convenient.
But in your position, you hunt a lot more private these days, anyways.
Yeah. I'll go maybe 2 or 3 times a year to the public just for nostalgic reasons. I miss, me and my father and brother used to go just about every weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So, just kind of a nostalgic thing to go back, and everything still looks the same as it did back then. So it's pretty neat.
Yeah. No, I guess it's been since high school. If I'm going to age myself, that's almost 30 years now since I've done that. But yeah.
Yeah, that can turn a guy away from waterfowling quick if that's all you depend on is getting out, at a public place.
Yep.
It can definitely turn you away.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, most definitely. So, you talked about your love for waterfowl hunting. You were hooked. But then you took it to the next level with Addiction, right? Your company.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Tell us how you got started making your calls and, what led you to that.
Well, I guess it was 1995. I just got out of high school. And my father had always been working on something in the basement or in the garage, and a lot of it was woodwork. So we thought we'd do something together, and because I just got hooked on waterfowling and started getting the interest in the calls, buying calls and trying the different ones. So we decided we'd buy a lathe and give it a shot. So we bought. Actually, back then it was pretty expensive, and they're still pretty expensive. But we went and bought a good lathe. It was a Delta, which most people know. That's a really good quality machine. So we bought that and a couple of other bandsaw and a few little tools, drill bits and so forth that you need to do it, and started giving it a try. This was some old junk wood, It's 2x4 or a little piece of oak or something like that, and turned them. The first few, obviously everybody's first few is pretty not very good.
Pretty rough.
Yeah, pretty rough. That's the word. But we kept trying at it. Got a couple to sound pretty good, and I can't remember exactly how it went, but we kind of got away from it. I was starting college and working a job, and just kind of got put on the back burner, So with obviously lots of other things to do, so it got put on the back burner until probably 2009 or late 2008 probably, and I decided, you know what, I'm gonna give this another try and just play around with it, with no intentions of making a business. Just had one, still had that same lathe, held on to that, and same bandsaw, and just set up in the basement and started reading online, how to get more refined in doing it.
And refined making your calls, and you're talking about shapes of the tube and all that, or what are you talking about?
Well, basically, more into-depth detail on what makes the call actually work and how.
Okay.
What affects what you do changes what.
Like the pitch and
yeah. And that goes back to, well, we'll go through that, but basically buying better materials, better finish supplies, and just working towards a better product. And I did it for a few years and sold them to some local guys, and I guess it was probably, I don't know, I was probably into it, say 100 calls, I guess, and just handmade in the basement, and took them to the NWTF National Convention in 2010. Took a few down there, which they have a big calling contest. They have the turkey side, and then they had a duck and goose side. And basically, you take your hunting style call. They have a decorative division as well, but I entered the hunting style. And they have 8 judges, and each judge runs that call, so it's not like a normal call contest where you're judging the guy running the call. The judges are actually judging the call based on the sound and the craftsmanship. And the first year of 2010, I won Rookie of the Year, what they call, somebody new that has entered the contest, and I won that. I was pretty excited about that, and that helped. That helped boost it a little bit in the local paper and so forth. Wanted to see what that was about, so we did a little story on that, and kept on going. Got them a little more refined and a little better each year. In 2012, I won the champion call maker of the year at the NWTF. And 2013, I won it again, and it really started picking up. And there's kind of a 3 or 4 guys that kind of got this custom call market, which is what that entailed down there. Started, using exotic woods, exotic burls that has been stabilized and so forth. Started a custom call market that has just by now has exploded, and so I went straight down that path with turning out higher end custom calls, and they got better each year. Got to 2016, I'd won again, and won the Champion of Champions as well.
Now, what is a Champion of Champions?
It is a division where only people that have won Call Maker of the Year can
okay.
enter.
Yeah.
So,
that makes sense.
Yeah. So, basically, that was really what propelled kind of the name. It is being able to have some recognition there, and with putting out a product that had just reached the point where it was starting to explode. So it was kind of good timing all the way around.
When did you decide that this could be a business? It could be a good business. Was it after you won Rookie of the Year, or that was just still kind of a hobby then, and then you won Call Maker of the Year? Is that when you decided, this could get real?
Well, I guess it was probably right after the Rookie of the Year. There's a few forums online, that dealt specifically with waterfowl stuff. So started to get a name and getting some orders online from that forum. And, it just kind of bled off into other forums, and more people, word of mouth and this and that. And the orders just started coming in to where it became a job.
Right.
So... it was still doable back then, with having a full-time job and trying to get people orders in a timely manner. But now it's a real full-time job, even though I still work another real full-time job. So I got 2 full-time jobs right now. But I love doing it, and I love people's reaction to the call that they get. So it's just all the way around, it's a fulfilling thing.
Well, you've got a crazy following. I'll see you post a call on Facebook. What do you call them? The waffles you'll do, where you 1 out of 10 drawing, you'll buy a spot, and it's literally filled up in a matter of 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, you post just now, and boom, 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 the reply, and you see the little 3 dots like somebody else is typing.
Right.
It's gone in no time.
It's hard to keep up with, and you're going to make some people mad because, hey, I picked that spot, or I picked this spot.
Right.
I mean, you can only do so much. It happens so fast that Facebook can't keep up with it, so it puts them in the wrong order, and then. But
so you're international. I mean, where's the longest order? The farthest away from here that you've had? I know had to have had some in Canada.
Yeah, lots in Canada. Probably either New Zealand or Russia.
Okay.
Sold some in Ukraine.
What's that feeling like? Like, holy cow! Somebody in the Ukraine found my call.
Exactly.
I'm based out of here in southeast Missouri.
Yeah. It's pretty cool to know that it has that kind of recognition. Until you go to the post office and see what kind of pain it is to ship something over there. But other than that, it's really neat to say, they're in the Ukraine, Russia, New Zealand,
Uh-huh.
but it's pretty cool.
Yep. So you waterfowl, that's where you've blown your business up.
Right.
Now you do the duck calls, several different lines. So when you make a duck call, the shape of it obviously makes a different sound. The reed style, possibly the reed shape. You tell me how that works.
Well,
I know you got several.
Obviously, the outside shape's not going to matter too much. Just distinguishes who's who and
I got
this
you.
and that. But the inside, the internals, is your tone board, they call it. It's the radius of the tone board is what determines what this call is going to sound like, as well as the exhaust end of the insert. But everything happens in the insert, and most people are using the same reed material. It's a Mylar, 10,000 Mylar, so that's not really a big deal. But it's how you create that insert that separates people.
I got you.
And that radius and the reed length and so forth is what determines what it's going to sound like.
Mm-hmm. So you do you make a line of goose calls as well.
Yep. I have 2 Canada calls, a longer one for the deeper, easy to break over kind of hunting style call, and then I have a short one that's a lot faster, a little bit higher pitch. So guys have their preference there. A lot of the guys that hunt a lot like the shorter ones. A lot of guys that aren't great on a goose call will like the longer one that's a little more forgiving.
I see.
Because a lot of goose calling is in your hands, so if you can work your hands, you can work that smaller call faster and to your liking. Where the other one, you still got to use your hands, but it's a little more forgiving.
I got you.
And then I'll have a Speckle Belly goose call as well, which is, becoming a real hot market, or has been, I guess, for a year or so. It's seems like more and more people are getting into the Speckle Belly.
Is that a higher pitched?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, way higher pitched.
Yeah, it's a lot higher pitch and total different sound. That's what they call a yodel. They do a yodel instead
I know
of
what
a
you're talking
honk
about.
or a cluck or a moan. But the Speckle Bellies will do a moan too, or a murmur kind of. But yeah, those are the 3 goose calls that I have right now.
Okay, and now you're doing turkey calls as well.
Yep.
Primarily pot calls.
Mostly pot calls. I do a slate, aluminum, and glass pot call. The production side are mostly, they're going to be cherry with a Purple Heart 2-piece striker. That's the production side. The custom side, can be whatever you want. As far as wood goes, I do Paduke, Bacote, Hedge, lots of different burls that have been stabilized. So, but as well, I make a turkey trumpet, which is old school. A lot of people don't use it anymore, which is I fell in love with them at the NWTF, just seeing the craftsmanship of what it takes to make one. So I decided I was going to try to make some of those as well, and I've just fallen in love with them. Not only for the fact that the looks of them, but a lot of people don't use them, so a lot of turkeys haven't heard them. It's a totally different sound out in the woods for them, so can be a pretty big advantage.
Yeah, I've never used them either.
Right. A lot of people don't even know what it is. I show it to them, and they have no idea what it is. But it's based on, the old wing bone calls, except, it's just, instead of a wing bone, you've turned a barrel and a ferrule and a mouthpiece and created, the same kind of call. You do like a kissing motion on the end of it. There's no reed, there's no anything like that. It's just an air cavity. And how you design that air cavity makes it give you your pitch and tone and the ease of use and so forth. But
I see.
Also, I have a line of mouth calls coming out this year.
Do you really?
Because so many people have asked me about them, and I just didn't want to come out with, a store-bought mouth call. I wanted to come out with one that is good. And so we got 3 different cuts coming out, and hopefully the hope is to have them probably online in the next week and a half, 2 weeks, and people can check those out.
All right,
There'll
good.
be 3 different cuts.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah, because a lot of people, that's all
they use.
Yeah, so kind of filling that void.
That's primarily all I use.
Yeah,
I'm a terrible caller, but
right. Well, I primarily have always used a slate, or a lot of people call them slates, but it's a pot call,
right?
And depending on what surface you want to put in it, but I've always used a pot call for the most part. But hard to do when they get in there close on you.
Yeah, it is.
Be able to switch over.
Well, for me, it's mouth call because I'm primarily self-videoing.
Yeah.
And you're trying to hold the gun. Yeah, I've got a hand on the camera. I don't have 2 other hands to run my pot call. So
exactly.
Yeah, I had to learn how to use a mouth call.
Exactly.
Yeah, get rid of that gag reflex.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely different.
Good, man. So what's next with your company? Where do you see it going? You do the production side on both waterfowl and turkey calls, goose calls. You also have the custom. What's the future?
Well, my goal is to try to get the addiction call side more in the production realm, where production being CNC'd parts that based off my design
that are in Bass Pro, Cabela's,
yeah,
wherever you're going to put them.
Yeah, in some of the bigger ones. I'm in some mom and pops now, but some of the larger retailers that can move more calls. That's the goal for addiction calls, and then to keep up with the handmade stuff that I like to do, I'm creating what I call K2 calls.
Mm-hmm.
It's in honor of my father who passed away, and I figured I'd do a tribute to him as this, this is how I got started in this thing. It was
right.
Me and him. So his name was Keith Koepp, so everybody called him K2. And that's where I've gotten the name from. And I'm going to move most of my custom stuff to be under the K2 name. The handmade stuff that I do, made by me one at a time is going to be in the K2 line.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to try to separate the two, to play both sides of the field, the production side and the custom side. Everybody, everybody wants a production call, and then there's a group of people that will only buy custom stuff.
Yeah.
Which, for me, I dabble a little bit in the production stuff, but for the most part, I want somebody handmade.
Uh-huh.
So the K2 thing is really my passion right now in trying to get that started and move the addiction into the production.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's tough to keep up by yourself, isn't it?
It is. I get the wife to help me with some, the paperwork side of things every now and then, but it's a lot of work, especially, with a full-time job during the day and trying to get, it makes my nights long, and pretty much do it all day Saturday and Sunday most weekends. So it's a grind.
It is a grind.
Yes,
I know it is.
But
any successful business is a grind.
Got to put that time in for sure.
Yep. So I guess you do the marketing side. You do everything.
I do.
Who created your logo? It's probably the coolest logo. That
the old skull logo.
Yeah.
I had this in my head. I wanted a skeleton duck, and actually, I forgot the guy's name now, but I just I found him online and asked him, could he draw what I had in my head, and it took a few tries, but that's how it ended up looking, and I think that was a winner, because I still to this day everybody wants me to bring back that old logo.
Yeah.
But, and I brought it back a little bit here and there, but yeah, I wish I could remember the guy's name, but he hand drew that and vectored it for me.
Yeah, no, that's
several
cool.
years ago.
Even your AC logo is.
Yeah, that was my doing.
That was your
I
doing?
wanted something a little more simple and more. I guess I shouldn't say brandable, because the duck was brandable, but Just something a little more simple as far as being able to put on the products. But so that's what led to that.
Yep. Yep. I know Vanessa. She loves you spinning duck calls in the basement every night.
Oh yeah, yeah. She loves it. She loves hearing the turkey calls and the goose and all the duck calls going all hours of the night. So
yeah, I'm about to start cranking up the turkey call practicing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Nicole loves it too.
Gonna love that. Yeah.
But Vanessa deals with it every night.
Every night.
365.
Yeah. Every night they're down there working on something. And a lot of times people come over looking for calls, looking to purchase a call, or just come over and hang out. And so sometimes we'll have 5 or 6 guys running one down there at the same time. So and she really likes that.
I can only imagine.
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah.
So that's the plan, and hopefully we get going down that road, and everything is kind of falling into place for that right now. So
the other thing you do that I guess falls into the custom side, but you can do it with your production models, is you do like promotional items. You can stamp somebody else's logo on it. They wanted to do something like that.
Absolutely. I have a CO2 laser in the shop, and I can create logos or take your business logo and put it on our product, a duck call or a goose call or a turkey call, or kind of whatever you want. So yeah, that's a good Christmas gift with their name, or a baby born, or a birth, somebody's birthday on them. Or I've even done an engagement duck call.
Oh yeah.
That he took his his girlfriend hunting and handed her this duck call that said, "Will you marry me?" on it.
No kidding.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. So it's kind of limitless of what you custom as far as that goes.
Well, she has no excuse then, because she got the duck call that says, "Will you marry me?" which means I will be in this duck blind.
Exactly.
Quite often.
Exactly. So she knew what she was getting.
There's no surprise.
And maybe she's one of those that just is hardcore as we are.
Yeah.
So he's one lucky guy.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was kind of cool. That was a pretty cool one. But yeah, as far as businesses, you could put. I've done them for large trucking companies. They give away to their their employees for
Christmas gift or something.
Christmas gift, or just a bonus for getting something done, and several things like that.
Huh. No, that's good, man. That's good. You're growing, which is, if you don't grow, you're
dying.
Fall behind and you're dying, right?
Exactly right.
That's right.
And it's with this social media age, it takes a lot of work to stay in front. It's a lot of work to not start dying on the vine. So
yeah, I hate social media.
Oh, I do too.
I absolutely despise it.
It's a love-hate, because you
have to do it though. You have to have it these days.
You have to do it, and it's brought me a ton of business. But I guess we're still kind of old school. That social media, sitting there typing to somebody on the internet. It's not for me. I just I got to do it, so I do it.
Yeah, I remember getting on Facebook. Nicole was on it. My wife was on it way before me. All my friends was on Facebook, and I'm not doing it. I'm just stupid.
Yeah.
But I started my business. I'm
Yep.
like, well, I have to do it now.
Right.
It's the only reason I got on it.
Exactly.
And now I find myself wasting 20 minutes a day.
Exactly.
Or longer.
See what everybody's up to.
Yeah, see what everybody's up to.
You got to keep up with the Joneses, in these kind of markets. You got to see what everybody else is up to. So it's a valuable tool, but an annoying one at the same time.
Oh, I know.
Lots of questions, and it basically makes you always available to people.
I don't mind that part of it so much. It's just the constant content you gotta put on there.
Exactly.
And then
Yeah.
If you want your content to reach anybody on a business page,
Right.
now you got to pay for it.
Exactly. And, the rules with that stuff keeps changing every year with Facebook as far as, who's getting to see what you're actually paying for, but it's got its place. It's definitely brought me a lot of business. So I just, I can't complain too much about it.
No, no, definitely not. So what's, where you headed turkey season? Again, you're starting in Missouri, you're going to go to Tennessee, you're going to go to Kentucky. Arkansas.
Yeah. Those are going to be probably my 3 main stops. I would say that maybe one more, maybe try to get to Kentucky, but those are going to be, Missouri's going to be my first go around, and try to get one with the shotgun, and then try to get one with the bow, and move on to the next state. So hopefully it works that way.
I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will. All right. Let us know what your contact information is. Where people going to follow you at? They're going to follow you on Facebook. What's your handle there? Your page?
Facebook. There's 2 different addiction calls pages. One's a business page, and then one's like a fan group. Both of them are called addiction calls, and if you know Facebook, you'll know the difference between a group and a business page. But they're both called addiction calls. And then, of course, my name, John Koepp. You can follow me there or friend me there. And Instagram is @AddictionCalls. I don't do Instagram a whole lot, but I will if I got something really cool I want people to see. I'll throw it on there. But for the most part, I just do Facebook. But email, john@addictioncalls.com, or they can call me 573-587-6228.
Okay.
And that's, and the website's www.addictioncalls.com as well.
All right. And you've got product for sale on your website?
Yep. Most, on my website, it's just going to be production stuff, which, is the acrylic calls and the mass-made CNC pot calls and so forth. The custom stuff, they just have to contact me on Facebook.
Let them know what you want.
Yeah.
And also pay attention to, you'll always throw a limited edition on Facebook, right?
Yep.
Limited run.
Yep. There is
and those go fast.
Yeah.
So you better click get notifications when John Koepp posts on Addiction Calls.
There's actually one coming up here pretty soon with the new duck call I got coming out. It's called the Detox. It's with the cut down rage now these days. I kind of went in and put the cut down sound into a call that most guys can run like a normal J frame. So be on the lookout for that one. It'll be probably in the next week or two hitting the Facebook page, and they're going to be very limited. Probably only going to be 25 of them. So in this first run, so you got to hop on there pretty quick.
Yep. Yeah, they'll be gone, and 25 of them will be gone in 4 minutes.
Yeah. Probably so. I hope so.
Less than that.
I hope so. Because I've had a lot of good feedback. I had those down at the NWTF, and a lot of guys got to run them, and they were impressed with it. So I think they're going to go pretty quick.
Good deal, man. Anything else you can think of?
Not really. I'm just stoked to get out there in the woods in the springtime with the birds. Birds chirping and the grass greening up and hearing that gobble. I just can't wait anymore.
Well, it's probably the best day of the year so far, and we're in here doing a podcast.
Exactly.
So we need to get out of here and go shoot our bows or something.
Exactly right.
All right, well, we're going to wrap this up. We have John Koepp, Addiction Calls, so be sure to hit him up on Facebook at Addiction Calls. There's 2 Facebook pages, a group, the page, Instagram, follow him there. Hit him up, John Koepp, on Facebook, friend request, give him a call, check his website out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get his calls.
There you go. Yeah.
Yep. They're the bomb.
Well, I appreciate it, Derek.
All right, man. We'll do this again, probably after turkey season. I want to hear about all your all your good hunting story
Boy,
successes.
I hope I got some good
It'll
ones.
be success. We all know.
I hope I got some good ones for you.
Oh, yeah. All right. We'll catch you all later.
All right.
This is Derek Dirnberger, and you're listening to the Nocked and Loaded podcast.